All right, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Baha Shem, Yahweh Shah, Baha Shem, Rachak, Wadash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders, a great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be, Shalom, Yahshua, Shalom. All right, it's another various article session, all right, from a link that was shared. I almost want to say it was yesterday or the day before, but recently, all right, and it's short. All right, so this will also be short. So it says housing vouchers frozen. Bill threatens to dismantle Section 8. All right, so that's the headline there, or title, or whatever you want to call it. All right, housing voucher housing vouchers frozen. Bill threatens to dismantle Section 8. All right, so we're going to read it because it's short. So it says millions of Americans could lose access to housing assistance under a sweeping 2025 proposal known as the One Big Beautiful Bill, which is actually what's the word, sarcastic, all right, to call it the One Big Beautiful Bill, all right, but though you're putting something forward that is actually going to affect many people, all right. But anyways, it says according to the HUD, Section 8 currently supports more than 2 million households. This new bill includes major cuts to Section 8 and other rental aid programs, and is already raising alarms among housing advocates. All right, and off the bat, because this is what the elder was speaking on. All right, when he did the live stream. Man, I can't think of the name of his channel right now. Uh, if I remember the name of his channel, I'll let you know. Can't think of it right now, but yeah. So and what you're gonna see mainly who's gonna be affected. All right, it's gonna be mostly women. All right, and their children, because they got Pookie and Ray Ray, or maybe they just some single woman, and whatever. All right, and I know for a fact, because I mean I grew up in the hood, so I never lived in the projects per se, but it's usually in the projects, okay, in certain housings like that, where people are usually getting housing from the program, all right, and they set you up in the projects or whatever, okay. I mean, hood and projects ain't too different, but a project is slightly different from a regular neighborhood, all right, because it is a certain a housing section, all right. Now, under certain circumstances, you can actually, like, I mean, if I'm correct, you like get a house or whatever, but I haven't seen too many people do that. At least not of the tribes, anyways. Okay, maybe Esau, all right, got a leg up like that, but I don't see the tribes doing that. All right, most of the time they end up being in the hood and then still being the same ghetto person, right, clubbing and doing this and that, popping out babies and so on and so forth. So now it's not to say that men aren't on the program, okay, because I'm pretty sure they are, but you mostly see these women, all right, who have 2, 3 baby daddies, and no man currently, all right. She's just sleeping around or not sleeping with nobody or whatever the case may be. And they've made use, all right, of this program for years. Like I said, I grew up around people like that, so I know. Okay, so they've made use of this program for many, many years, all right, and they pretty much, in a sense, went up the system, all right. Scripture tells us to use the world, but not abuse it, right? And that's what's happened, okay? Woe unto you that go down to Egypt for help. A lot of people have trusted too much in this system, and not knowing that this man is the devil. And this system was originally designed against you, okay? It says, this new bill includes major cuts to Section 8 and other rental aid programs, and is already raising alarms among housing advocates. What's in the bill? Section 8 and housing aid on the chopping block. The proposed legislation would eliminate new funding for housing choice vouchers, which is Section 8, freeze or reduce renewal funding, and even when this program wasn't even talked about years back, all right, you might see people go down there and the office is full, and then the people that apply will be on like a 2-year waiting list, all right. So it was being crazily overused back then. Now, granted, there's a small percentage of few that probably actually needed it, versus those who were just utilizing it. All right, but you get the point. It says freeze or reduce renewal funding for current voucher holders. Add new income verification rules that could disqualify recipients. It says add new income verification rules that could disqualify recipients, which actually makes me think about food stamps because they do the same thing for food stamps. All right, they require you to search for a job and so on and so forth, all right, to continue receiving stamps. And what a lot of those people do is they'll fill out the applications with no intention of actually getting the job or calling them, having a follow-up, call or whatever like that. It's just to continue on with the food stamps and say, hey, you can't take it from me because I'm actually filling out applications. All right. So yeah. So people, I mean, it's natural. People learn how to one up and misuse the system. All right. So it is what that is, but that's besides the point. It says end emergency rental assistance programs launched during COVID. Right. It says the bill doesn't directly defund the Department of Housing and Urban Development, but it strips the funding tools local housing agencies need to issue or renew vouchers, which is the same thing as dismantling it. Okay. It's no different. All right. It says who will be affected by the cuts. If passed, the bill could impact families waiting on Section 8 list, which I just talked about, right? Sometimes there could be 2-year waiting list, right? Waiting for a free apartment to pop up and then call you. And then, depending on your situation, as well as your family household, someone that's just single person just by themselves and need the assistance, they may get put on the back burner because there's some chick that has 2 kids and no man and no assistance. And so even though she didn't apply for the program before you, she'll actually get the voucher before you and then milk the system. Okay. So it says many of which are already closed. Current voucher, and I know these things because, like I said, I I know certain ins and outs of this system here. All right, I've never been on it, okay, but I understand certain ins and outs of the system and how people have used it by being around annoying people who have used the system. So it says current voucher holders forced to requalify under stricter rules. Older people, veterans. It says current voucher holders forced to requalify under stricter rules. So basically, you now having to requalify under stricter rules, and you may not be able to requalify. So now you're snipped. Okay. Older people, veterans, and disabled renters relying on monthly aid. All right. It says, older people, veterans, and disabled renters relying on monthly aid, which that could open up other avenues. All right. Not just about the housing assistance. It says residents in rural counties often face limited access to vouchers. With rent inflation and homelessness already rising, critics say these cuts could push thousands into unstable housing. All right, and as if we don't already have a so-called a homeless crisis, okay? But the average person doesn't understand who speak about this and complain about the system. Jake popping up in the world. All right, complaining about the system. What they don't understand is they're planning on crashing this current system. They're planning on chaos. They're planning on homelessness. They're planning on people damn near starving. So they can all say, look, or not all, but I'm talking about the so-called elite. Look, people, we have a solution here, and it's a simple solution, and it'll help everybody. And it's gonna be the microchip, man. Okay. So it says. So, because all this is the pressure, man. It says in Revelation 13, all right, he calls it all. Okay, how is he going to cause you? Because you're still going to have to make a conscious decision, all right? But that cause it, all right, is the pressure. Okay, what is the pressure the devil is going to use to affect the minds of the people to get them to that broken low point to make the people want to call on them? Because that's what they have, a God complex. They want people to call on them and look towards them. So in order for them to do that, to achieve that, they have to what? Break the people down to make them want to call on them. All right. And this is part of the woe unto him that decree unrighteous decrees. All right. So it says, what advocates are saying. Housing advocates call the cuts cruel and warn of serious fallout. Warn of serious fallouts. All right, so there you go right there. Housing advocates call the cuts cruel, but once again, the system ain't for you. All right, now I'm gonna get a scripture on that real quick. Actually, I might get it in a second here. We'll probably end with it maybe, because I'm gonna probably play that video too. I don't know how long it is, but I'm gonna read this first because the article is short. So it says, higher rates of eviction and homelessness, overloaded shelters and local housing systems, long-term housing, which even when you deal with homeless shelters, you got to have certain certain qualifications for that, all right, and meet certain standards for that. Okay, I mean, it's too much to actually try to provide something for the homeless people, but then you actually have to give them, but which is understandable because you do want them to, like I say all the time, all right, not every homeless person is just some homeless person, right? Some of those people actually chose the route that they're down. Okay, not everybody just fell under circumstances. Some of those people actually went and chose that route they're down. Okay, but that's besides the point. Long-term housing insecurity for vulnerable Americans. Legal aid groups are preparing for an increase in clients facing council benefits or emergency housing needs. What happens next? The bill is expected to spark intense debate in Congress. Supporters say it trims government waste. Opponents say it targets the working, poor, and older. It says, if you currently receive housing assistance, contact blah, 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 blah. Okay, we don't need that. And I think that's it there. So let's actually see. I don't know how long this video is, but let's see what it's. Okay, so there's not a number.
For people that don't want to go to work, y'all time is up. Now, how many of y'all have family members, friends, people you know that's been living off Section 8 for 20 years? I don't know if y'all heard or not, but Trump is getting rid of that Section 8 and EBT for these people that don't want to get out here and go to work. Your time is up, baby. So all y'all that's living it up right now, that's able-bodied to go to work, and you're choosing not to go to work, you better get ready. Because, baby, y'all finna get them notices. And them notices gonna come soon.
This is devastating for a lot of people. For people that have regular, say 2 years, they ain't coming out with a Section 9, okay?
This thing, hold on. Doggone it. Bear with me. Let me see if I can pull this thing back up.
And them notices gonna come soon.
Okay.
This is devastating for a lot of people. For people that have regular Section 8, 2 years. 2 years. They ain't coming out with a Section 9, okay? That is it.
I personally don't agree with a lot of things Trump is saying, but this one specific thing makes sense to me. To all the people that's on Section 8, he is giving y'all 2 years to get on your feet. Trump says stop being dependent and become independent. I agree.
People better start taking Trump seriously. Like, if show me better than you could tell me who was a person, it's him. He's now talking about getting rid of housing. That is literally going to force people that have not paid that amount in whatever their rent costs, homeless. That is about to literally force people into the streets. And everybody keeps saying the same thing. Oh, he's not going to do this, or he can't get away with this, or our Constitution is so strong. Literally, he is getting away with a lot of stuff.
Supposedly, I don't know if this is true, I don't know if this is factual, but Section 8 will be cut come 2025 or later 2025. This is what I've seen on, I think it was on Facebook. I didn't even go and fact check, but I want to address the comment that I seen, and it was like, this is good because people be on Section 8 and they abuse it. And it's like, how is this good? Whether a group of people are abusing a resource, if you take the whole resource away from the people that's not abusing it, we don't have it. And I think that's what, Trump is kind of bargaining at. He's getting at, stir crazy. People become fearful for their lives. It's survival of the fittest. So certain, government assistance that's now been taken away is not an act of service. It's not, now everybody's going to get up on their own 2 feet. No. People don't have it like that. It's not like everyone is not dealt the same card. So you're not going to be like putting everybody at the same starting line and then whatever. No.
Did y'all hear what Trump said? He said you only getting 2 years to be on this Section 8. Now,
I don't think he wrong at all, because most of you guys are abusing me. You've been on Section 8 for 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, 20 years. Let somebody else who actually need it. Because most of y'all don't even, y'all abuse me. I'm talking about the ones, not everybody, I'm talking about the ones that's on it and don't work, don't want to work. And then the ones that's on it and then do work. You know, you calling your boss and telling your boss to falsify that paperwork. Yeah, paperwork. But Trump said the gig is up. That's why it's important to have a good old man if you don't want to work. Pay your bill.
President Trump has put a 2-year limit on Section 8 for all of those Section 8 voucher holders. But I cannot say that I disagree with this 2-year limit on Section 8. Section 8 is supposed to be a stepping stone for families. But there are so many people that are on Section 8 that has been on Section 8 for a lifetime, to the point to where other families don't have a chance to get that help, that assistance, and get ahead themselves. I don't think that's fair for people to stay on Section 8 for 18, 19 years and not give other families that's in need the opportunity to receive those sort of benefits. So I do not disagree with President Trump on this time limit.
I'm not no hating ass bitch. I'm not knocking nobody's situation. But if you really think about it, Section 8 is only to assist you to get on your feet. Section 8 is a stepping stone to get you on your feet. Section 8 is not something you should depend on for the rest of your life. Government assistance is not something you should depend on for the rest of your life. Keyword, assistance, to assist you. Y'all done got too comfortable. There's people that's been on Section 8 for like 10 plus years. That's a long time. Within that amount of time, you should have a lot of money saved up in your bank account, in your savings account. Y'all too busy buying the newest shoes, buying the hottest cars, trying to keep up with the trend, buying designer purses, buying designer clothes, but you're in public housing. If you can buy designers, you can pay your house rent without assistance. Let that sink in. If you can buy designers, you can pay your house rent without assistance. I mean, I get it. There's a lot of single mothers out here also that need those type of assistance. But if you just comfortably living off Section 8 and don't care, that's crazy to me. That's the reason why nobody else can get in, because y'all be on Section 8 for years.
So that's easy.
Now, how many of y'all have family members, friends, people you know that's been living off Section 8 for 20 years?
I'm not even sure what just
that
happened.
work on food and
able to afford pay.
Okay, I guess there's more.
If you get $6 billion, but he always stays up. It's going to be for 2 years.
It's like major changes may be coming to the subsidized housing program because Donald Trump has asked Congress to allow him to slash more than 40%, $26 billion from the Section 8 program and institute new rules that adults who do not have disabilities will no longer be permitted to be in the program more than 2 years. And homeless experts are already concerned about this, increasing the rate of homelessness because the rent prices have gone so high and people's income are not rising as quickly as these rent prices are. I think many of us do believe that this system has been broken. There are needs for changes. Personally, working with seniors who are 80, 85-year-olds, waiting to get an apartment for 2-3 years, having to live in shelters because there are able-bodied adults holding these certificates is an issue. If you get into these programs and you are a young adult, it should not be a lifetime plan if you don't have a disability or you're not a senior. This should be a 3 to 5 year program at tops, where you come in, you get in training, you get employment, and you start building yourself up to where you can start contributing more to your life until you are totally responsible for your life. Too many people are using these programs as a whole lifetime plan, right? And it's inconsiderate of the people like the seniors, like people with disabilities who truly need it. So, no disrespect to the people that use these programs, but they are not lifetime programs. They are to be used for the time you need them in their life, and then you get off of them until you need them again. Just like unemployment. You get unemployment when you're unemployed, not while you're working. All right?
The White House just proposed a new bill that will cut 43% from the Section 8 and other low-income federal housing programs. And if this passes, around 3.9 million Americans will be affected by this. This new proposal will also have a 2-year cap on every able adult that's able to work. And in my opinion, this is actually needed. This cap amounts to around $27 billion. Under this proposal, the remaining funds will be converted to block grants, and it will be given to states for them to manage those funds and give them to the families they need. If this passes, states with high cost of living and rents like Massachusetts, California, and New York will be the most affected, and probably will have a lot of people that will not be able to afford paying rent.
Section 8 will also provide funds to developers to build housing specifically for subsidized tenants. That means, whether it's an apartment community, single family, duplex, fourplex, like, those are funds. They said, we're just going to send it back to the states, which essentially means we're going to leave you guys high and dry. And if you have a state that is fiscally responsible, great, good for you. I do not. I live in Mississippi, and our state is infamous for misallocating funds, stealing funds. We let people literally run amok. Oh, and we just passed legislation this past legislative session to eliminate the income tax. We are already subsidized at one of the highest rates by the federal government. They are eliminating FEMA. Like, y'all got to look at the budget proposals, because some people are saying, this will be good because if we get all those, Section 8 tenants out, then the housing market, the prices will change. Y'all, there's so much nuance in this. What is going to happen is those people are going to have to leave. And where will they go? There are no programs. Federal funding has been cut from almost every federal program or grant or subsidy that was provided to assist people with things like this. Where are they going to go? What do they do? Now they won't have housing. They will not have health care because Medicaid, surprise, is getting gutted. And I know every Republican said, absolutely, we're not touching Medicaid. We're not touching Social Security. It was a lie. They lied. They absolutely are. Look at the budget.
President Trump's latest budget plan proposes a staggering $26 billion cut to the Department of Housing and Urban Development. This includes slashing the Section 8 program, which currently supports over 2 million low-income households. Eliminating Section 8 doesn't just affect housing, it's going to set off a chain reaction. You're going to have rising homelessness, overburdened emergency service, and a strained economy. HUD faces 43.6 budget cut. It's going to be the largest in its history. It isn't just trimming the fat, it's cutting into the bone of essential services. As affordable housing disappears, the gap between the wealthy and the poor widens. The plan shifts responsibility to many states, many already underfunded, and imposes a 2-year cap on rental assistance for able-bodied adults. What happened after those 2 years? Follow the money, evict the poor, inflate the market, and sell the American dream to the highest bidder.
So, y'all know President Trump is taking away housing. He's taking Section 8 and housing. He's giving them 2 years. You got 2 years to get off. Starting 2026, you have to 2028, where he cutting you off. Cutting you off. So technically, you have 2 years and 9 months, because it is March. All that extra money you got, listen. Section 8 was made to be a stepping stone for you to get your life together so that, you can move on in the world. Not to live on forever. Like, people been on Section 8 for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. And now they about to lose their housing because They didn't pick up no skills. They didn't save no money. Like, and it's hard. Even if you did save some money, are you going to have enough money to buy a house? And is your money going to last long enough for you to pay rent?
So that was the end of it right there. I still don't know how long it was, but yeah, it's pretty much the same rhetoric. All right, everybody's speaking about. And you know this was all women. Because like I said, not to say that it doesn't, apply to men, but you usually, majority see, it's the women that go apply for this program, and it's the women who have mostly misused this program, okay? The Section 8 voucher and so on and so forth. I'm going to close it. I'm going to just get a couple scriptures here straight to the point. A couple scriptures here. As a matter of fact, let me punch this one up. Here it is right there. I just saw it. Yeah, 2 horns like a lamb. Let me get that. Revelation 13:11. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. All right, we're going to do this. We're going to assist this. We're going to do it. It's going to be helpful. We're going to trim the fat. All this, talk. All right, it's just babbling. Okay, because ultimately, what these devils are doing are trying to cut the legs of Jake. Now they're doing it it's all, it's across the board when you're dealing with America in general. But you have to understand the target is always you Israelites, man. Especially you ones that think God loves everybody, or the white man he's nice, he's okay, all right, and so on and so forth. All right, you're so buddy with the other nations. They don't care about you. All right, especially when you're dealing with the devil himself, which are the Edomites. Okay. So he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. All right. He's saying that this shouldn't be this way, and that should be like this, and people this, blah 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 blah. But then you're putting a spear in people's sides. All right. So, and especially when it comes to Trump, he does a lot of talking like that. He'll say one thing, which is all presidents in general, but Trump he's a special breed of that type, right? But but it's all according to the agenda, the plan that he's been given. All right, it's not Trump. That's what a lot of people can think. It's not Trump. Trump's not he's not in the driver's seat. Okay, I think I spoke about that at camp, man. The car is on autopilot. The airplane is on autopilot. All right, and the banking families are the ones, the so-called elites, are controlling that autopilot seat from some remote location. Trump is just sitting in the passenger seat. Okay, he's just a puppet. But because people see Trump, they say Trump this, Trump that. Because of Trump is doing this, Trump. All right, he's the fall guy placed at this moment. Okay. But and it's the same thing as in ancient Rome, man. All right, the attack on the Israelites, persecution on the Israelites. But this time everybody's going to get pulled into it, because this is the time of Jacob's trouble, which is not only going to be about Israel, but the other nations are going to get pulled into the madness. Okay, and it's going to lead to chaos. Oh, and not to forget, because you may be taking away this program, that program, certain other programs, but not to forget, this is another avenue that could lead up to the UBI, all right, Universal Basic Income, because it's the same thing, okay, as it's almost the same thing as Section 8, all right, because I've known people who like I said, when these people are talking about abusing the system, yeah, there have been a lot of people who have really, really abused the system. There's people who paid $10, $100, for rent, all right, off this voucher, man, and then just going crazy, all right, like they were saying, the one chick buying designer this, buying designer, that's facts, man. Okay, I've seen that happen, man. So who've extremely abused this system. But then, like I was saying, then you have the UBI. It's the same thing, a universal basic income. You just come sign up for our program. We'll give you money every month. All right, and we renew that money every month to take care of your bills and whatever else the case may be. And depending on your household size, we may increase that amount that we give you monthly. But what's going to be the ins and out of that? It's the system. When I say the system, I'm talking about the microchipping system. You see? It's no different. It's just moving a step closer towards Esau's ultimate agenda, man, which is that digital system and that micro C-hip. Okay? Yes, I read that scripture. Let me get one more. That's a very important scripture that I was thinking of as well. And we'll close it out right there, because the point is made and the video was said enough. All right, so let me see if I can find what I'm looking for. Yep, here we go. So it says, Revelation 12 And 13, and when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, and the dragon is talking about, Esau, Edom, and his empire, the red dragon as his empire. He persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. So who's the woman? It's talking about the nation of Israel. The man-child that brought forth the man-child, in particular, talking about the tribe of Judah, because Yahushua is from the tribe of Judah. All right, so this woman is talking about the nation of Israel. All right, and this man-child is talking about Yahushua. And that's really more so the history in particular is dealing with the history around the time when the Herodians were in power and they were seeking to kill all the children 2 years and under because they knew that around the time that Yahushua was born. But let's keep getting to the point. So it says, and to the woman, so to the Israelites, we're given 2 wings of a great eagle that she might fly into the wilderness into her place. Now, when the Romans came in 70 AD, we did just that. Many were murdered. Many were taken back as captives. Many of us fled and scattered abroad, and the biggest portion of us actually ended up going into so-called Africa, and then we were picked up at into the slave trades from Africa. We're not Africans. We originally came from out of Jerusalem. So it says, 2 wings of a great eagle, same history you read in Matthew 24, Luke 21, right? That she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time. That's the key thing right there I want to get to, where she's nourished for a time, because that place is talking about here in America, where all these different programs and these systems were set up, all right, to help Jake, because, I mean, look at the devil, all right? Otherwise, we'd be wiped out back then. So the Lord had to put the spirit upon the devils to create these certain programs and things of that nature, certain different assistances coming from the government to help Jake so we can nourish ourselves, okay? While in return, they say, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, right? Okay. But it says, fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. Okay. And that time, as you see, the time of them being nourished and utilizing and overutilizing these certain assistance programs is running out. All right. For the people of America, especially for Jake, because you have to understand the system was designed against you. Okay. Yeah, other people get affected by certain things. They get caught up in jail system and court and other things, but everything was designed, all right, to keep you Israelites down, okay? Because you're their main enemy when you stand from the heathens standpoint, especially when you talk about the Edomites. All right? So yeah, I just wanted to point out that little point there, all right? It says where she is nourished for a time. And so all these programs, then you see the time is running out, okay? And this is just going to be, eventually it's going to be across the board. Everybody's going to face, face the music eventually, all right? The whole full elect remnant, everybody, because we're moving to the time of Jacob's trouble, a time like no other, all right? That's why the scriptures are breaking these things down, especially like in the book of Ezra. He gave us the most clearest explanation of Jacob's trouble that we could possibly receive. And it's going to be a lot worse than what we can actually read about in the scriptures. But things are going to keep progressively getting worse and worse and worse until, all right, it flatlines. And that's when Esau is going to come, all right, and he's going to say, hey, here's how we fix things, all right? It's the digital system. It's the microchip. And they're going to add in their, their brain technology stuff and all that kind of stuff like that, too. And they're going to say anybody who's against the system, all right, or they're evil, they're wicked, or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And that's obviously going to be aimed at, the ministry, mainly beginning with those men that teach, which leads up to Amos chapter 8, verse 11 and 12. All right. A famine of the word, man. So all these things are trickling, a down effect. Okay. So that's all I pretty much wanted to get out of there. All right. So Lord willing, you edify the next time. I'm going to say shalom.